there's a significant piece of content that can genuinely help someone, right? If you think that can add a lot of value, how one person grew his business from 0 to 100 million in 2 years, that story everyone would like to know. In our discover phase, we have a particular formula, a certain number of questions that we ask. We're in the business of asking the right questions. The answers many times lies with the businessman. For transforming SME businesses, right, we realize that if we only transform the business and don't transform the business owner, it doesn't transform, right? Because they're owner driven. We take around 1 week to just study the market and 1 to 2 weeks to just study competition, study the whole market, study what the industry is moving to in any industry.
For faster work, you need to invest on a faster systems, and then
it's a part of the business, right?
Yeah,
so that's a part of your business.
Yeah.
Unless you're passionate about something, right? Unless you're not money, unless you're passionate about the business you will not be motivated every day. So that's why it's very important to turn passion into profit. Decisions can only be taken with the right data, right? With the right knowledge is the right data, which is industry research, secondary industry research, and asking them, right? So that's research is a very important part of our job. Strategy is the least amount of steps to achieve a particular goal. Prioritizing. How do we prioritize? Within the limited resources that I have, how do I achieve the most?
Everyone wants to start a business, right? If someone is working at job or somewhere, then I want to start a business to do something. And if you had to start a business in 2024, right, with like a 50,000 investment, 50,000 INR, not $1,000, 50,000 INR, with a goal that you need 3x ROI within a year time. So what would you start and how would you go about it?
I don't want to promise anyone 3x ROI 1 year. It all comes down to business, right? Firstly, if you're starting off, know what you're good at. So for example, you are a video editor, right? The most important thing while starting up a business, there's only one thing, is to sell, right? So before you sell, you need to create define your pairings, right? Whether you want to be VFX, you want to be fast. Once you define who you are, then it's all about selling. Then it's how can I take that 50,000? There are only 4 ways to get business. One is you do one-to-one meetings. Okay? The second is you do one-to-many selling. So that is you go on social media and you sell, right? You run ads. Okay. The third is you go to events and maybe that 50,000 you can register yourself to be a speaker at one of the events to build thought leadership. And the last is to spend that money for a networking club, right? Like your BNI or your GCCI or your some chamber body, industry body, right? Once you have that defined, take that 50,000 and you need to start reaching out to maximum number of people. Now you could do any one of these. You could either join a community, right? You could join a BNI and then start selling. You can run 50,000 on Facebook ads, right? One thing businesses don't do, like for example in school, right? When we have a project, they tell us, okay, this is your project. Then we have a faculty who will give us feedback on it. SME owners don't have accountability managers. We call it mentors or coaches, right? So first thing when you have 50,000, get a family or friend or an associate who's done what you want to be, right? For example, if we are in the space of digital marketing, right? Meet someone who's created a $1 million digital marketing firm and ask them to coach you, or ask an industrialist who's reached at higher levels, right? Ask them to be your mentor. For that, however small a budget, these guys won't charge you. You just have to ask. 99% of the times people won't say no. Right? So get yourself a mentor, take that 50,000 rupees, create a small little brand, no xyz@gmail.com, right? Create a professional setup to know that people are taking you seriously. Okay, then if you are in a creative field, you can either go out on Fiverr or go out to individual networking events, but go out, okay, start networking, be part of networks, and start selling.
Hmm.
Start selling after defining what you stand for. After defining your brand, start selling. 1 year will be magical. 50,000 is, I think, a decent amount to 3x. Now also depends on how do you value your time,
Hmm.
right? Business owners should know how to value your time. Okay? So if my salary was 1 lakh a month, right? I need to be making as a business at least in the start 2 lakhs a month,
Hmm.
right? So set your goal, right? To make 2 lakhs, now I have 50,000 rupees. What do I do? If I was in the business of digital marketing in my current firm, can I start a similar and get 5 clients or 2 clients who are paying me 1 lakh a month, right? So define what it is and then go out selling that,
Hmm.
right? And do your best. Get better day 1, day 2, but just get better in what you do. Be faster than your competition.
Hmm.
Right? The only thing you need to do is be faster. Be faster. Learn that. Okay. I'll tell you how. If again you're in the line of video editing, okay, someone sends you a quotation, calls you up for a proposal today. Okay, I will send you the proposal. Typical in the market, you will get by end of day you will get the proposal.
Hmm.
Can you send it instantly, faster?
Hmm.
Okay. Someone is delivering a video in 48 hours. Can you give it in 30 hours, faster?
Hmm.
Right? Keeping the quality the
Yeah,
same.
yeah. Not compromising on
They're
the
not
quality.
compromised. So
Yeah.
everything that you do,
Hmm.
do it faster. If you do it faster, you will get more money. So, if you're making say 1 lakh a project, you're getting 1 lakh in 30 minutes versus 1 lakh in 48 minutes,
Hmm.
right? So that's where you can significantly scale. Do everything better, but do everything faster.
Hmm.
Okay, across. So when you're starting up, do everything faster than your competition, right? Like the slowest deer will get eaten,
Hmm.
right? Do it faster, you will reach ahead.
I had this thought that for faster work you need to invest on a faster systems and then keep
But
on
that's a part of the
yeah,
business,
yeah,
right? So that's a part of your business,
yeah.
right? So that's the business model that you
You
want to
have the
invest.
skill, you have this capability to work, then you feel like, oh, this system is slow, then you speed up your system or you upgrade
Yeah.
to
So
a
take that
better system.
50,000 and spend it on a faster
Yeah.
system.
Hmm.
That will give you more impact than
You can't tell the client कि अरे my network was down or my
a client doesn't
rent,
understand
yeah,
technicalities. Like client
render
doesn't want to
time.
know.
You can't speak technically.
Yeah.
You just wants the result कि भाई
My system crashed. My computer
yeah.
crashed. It was raining today. My Wi-Fi is down. Client doesn't care.
Hmm.
Right? But what matters is can you give it faster? If you tell a client you're giving it in 48 hours,
Hmm.
give it to him in 45 hours. He'll be much happier.
Hmm.
Right? Because you're exceeding expectation. You're making him smile. Right? So be better, do it faster.
Cool.
Just 2 things, 2x.
Hmm. And what is your like the approach of you turn businesses into brand, right?
Yes.
So how do you go about that?
Um,
With apart from the framework, anything else?
so our framework is our philosophy. Our
Hmm.
framework is the main system that we use to transform systems. So at each point of time, in our discover phase, we have a particular formula, a certain number of questions that we ask.
Hmm.
We're in the business of asking the right questions. The answers many times lies with the businessman.
Hmm.
So we have a very powerful way of asking questions across the whole program.
Hmm.
Typically, we have a 6-month program to a 1-year program. So we follow the 5D framework so ruthlessly. And again, how can we give, if we're creating a content piece for someone, how can we create the best piece of content for them?
Hmm.
How can we create something that they never expected? Right? We have the Smile framework in our office. Okay, all of our staff is incentivized
Hmm.
on going the extra mile. Every time a client says, "Wow, good, great work," they get a star.
Hmm.
They get a smiley. We have a big smiley board in the office, right? That has different smiles, and each one's every time someone goes the extra mile, someone does something great. For example, the other day we had a shoot, and we had to change the shoot location to a 5-star hotel, and because that was the only hotel that was giving the view of a particular bridge or a particular destination. And one of our staff actually, and I asked, "Do you want me to call the 5-star GM?" He said, "No, I've already called my friend who knew the 5-star GM who has already arranged for it." So he's gone the extra mile and done it himself, right? So then he got a smile for that. So how do we go the extra mile? These are the 2 things that we do throughout our programs, the 5D framework. Knowing what you are, what you stand for is 95% of the job done.
How are you feeling after
Excellent,
speaking for an
excellent.
hour?
Oh,
Just
this over
speaking
an
after,
hour?
yeah.
Wow. No, it didn't feel like an hour.
You go to networking events and all, na? There also you'll be continuously speaking only, or you're just
Yes.
listening more and.
Yes. No, so it's you listen first, then you speak.
Cool. So we are talking about SMEs more and business and right. But what about individual? Like how do you transform them, or is it just the business part?
No. So again, for transforming SME businesses, right, we realize that if we only transform the business and don't transform the business owner, it doesn't transform, right? Because they're owner driven. So again, I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. I won't call it a framework, but a philosophy, right? So A, to achieve anything, you need to believe. That's a B. C is consistently do, right? That we spoke about. The E is envision. If you don't have a vision, you don't know where you're going, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, E, F, G. F, G is frame your goals. After you have a vision, right? I want to transform the way VFX is done. Frame your goals, number wise, be smart, specific. Okay, frame your goals. And the last part, go hit it. If you don't have this A, B, C, D, F, G in your business, go and do it today. Everyone, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. To achieve anything, believe, consistently do. Okay, envision, have a vision, and frame your goals, and then go. HI is hit it. Right. So, for business owners, belief is the most important thing that you need to transform. Because SMEs, many a time, the business owner's mindset is basis what his friends are, or maybe if his family was into business, it's basis that. Suppose they're making, say, 1 crore, that's his mindset. 1.5 crore, 2 crores is good for me. But the work he's doing is so good, maybe there's 10 crores out there. Right? So it's very important for the owner to transform his mindset. And that can only happen if one is you have a coach or a mentor who has an outwardly view of your business. Right? Someone who can push you. Business owners don't have accountability, right?
Yeah.
Today, you don't achieve your goals. Who are you going to complain to? You're going to say, oh, I had an accident, that's why I couldn't achieve it. Who's that one person going to say, wake up the bed, go. Today, I don't feel like doing it. I'm not in the mood. I had a tiring weekend. So, an accountability coach and a coach ensures a mentor, someone who's seen the industry, someone who understands, will one is change your mindset, which is priceless, right? Moving from a 1 crore mindset to a 100 crore mindset to $200 million mindset, that's priceless, right? And schools don't teach you this, right? So schools, MBA don't, even your networking communities, right? They don't teach you. That's why they say roam with people who are sometimes out of your league, because their mindset is what is contagious. You will meet them midway, right? So change your mindset, get a coach, right? Have a mentor, okay, coach or a mentor, whatever you think is right. You might have people in your family who can advise you, right? So transform yourselves mentally for the hustle. I think there's a new wave of entrepreneurship when a lot of these online influencers are talking about the hustle, right? Hustle. Recently, the interview with the Infosys chairman. I'll keep saying it's all about working smart, not working hard. Right? How do, within the least amount, within the current hours that you have, how do you achieve more? Right? Everyone, a billionaire, a millionaire, and a crorepati still has 24 hours a day. Right? The only thing that's different is mindset. So for entrepreneurs to transform their business, they have to believe, transform their mindset, and then the business will grow. Then you set your systems and processes, you set your marketing, you set your brand, you set everything in place for the business to grow. But this will be useless if you don't transform your mindset.
People go the other way around.
Yeah. So again, mind is a very difficult topic, right?
Yeah.
Our mindset is only created at home and friends and family and friends. At whatever is your circle, you tend to, that's the limit that we have. Yes, nowadays we have podcast and we have access to YouTube where people are only talking about hitting 100 million, 200 million. But let's start. Right? How do you go first from 1 lakh to 10 lakhs, then from 10 lakhs to 5 crores? Right? These are all casual jumps. The toughest is the first few steps. Right? Then going from 1 million to 10 million, 10 million to 100 million is easier. Right? So I think that's something that we need to understand. Get a coach. My advice to a lot of SMEs, owner-driven businesses: get a mentor, get a coach to change your mindset.
Hmm. What are these strategies in this, like in?
Again, so from a strategy point of view,
One is you get your coach.
so again, yeah. So strategy is the least amount of steps
Okay.
to achieve a particular goal. Prioritizing. How do we prioritize within the limited resources that I have? How do I achieve the most? Right. So that's the first step. Is again coming back to our framework. Right. Is so define your goal. Now your mentor and your coach will help you define a more aggressive goal. BHAG they call it, big, hairy, audacious goal. The goal should be audacious yet reachable. Right? It should be tricky yet challenging. Right? It shouldn't be so unrealistic that it kills off within half a year. Yeah, for example, we worked with a very ambitious entrepreneur who's in the gifting space, and initially, when she was extremely motivated, but to jump a business to 10x, if she had to just set her goals, she would have not put that number, right? Because she would have based it basis her previous goals. So when we said you have to 10x your goal, no, I've never done it. But that's an external point of view telling her that you can do it. And she didn't say no. She said, yes, I'll do it. Okay. And trust me, within 6 months, she crossed the 10x goal. And within 1.5 years, she's gone and done the Ambani pre-wedding.
Nice.
Right. So, and crushed those goals. Right. So, belief is something, you just have to motivate a young entrepreneur and push them. The entrepreneur has enough fire within them to do wonders. Every entrepreneur, right? The want for more is in India, every entrepreneur. You just have to light them up. So the strategy is, again, find a coach, get a right advice, set the right goals, and then consistently
get some motivation and
find out who you stand for. Okay. See, motivation is also, what is motivation? Motivation is short term, right? How do we motivate ourselves every day?
Yeah.
Unless you're passionate about something, right? Unless you're not money, unless you're passionate about the business you are, you will not be motivated every day. So that's why it's very important to turn passion into profit, right? And many times people get so carried away by passion that it's not profitable, right? I'm happy. I don't, I'm making, side hustles, right? I'm baking a cake in the evening. I'm happy doing it. But is it, can I significantly scale it? So how do we change passion to profit? One is by igniting the entrepreneur, telling them why they should, what are the pairings, associations they should have for their brand, and then consistently doing, meeting people, hitting goals, reaching out to the right communities, being present on social media, showing up. I would just call it showing up. First, branding would be the dressing up part. It's very important to dress up. And the next is showing up. Marketing is the showing up part. Right? Dress up, show up, dress up, show up. If you show up without dressing up, it'll be a bad impact. Right? If you go to a business meeting with slippers and a t-shirt,
basically bad marketing it will be.
It's negative marketing, right? It's impression based, right? It's all about impression. I keep saying brand is your impression that you make, right? That's why when you see a nice car, you turn, your head turns. Can you turn heads when you walk into a room? Right. Second is impressions is marketing. How many times you're impressing upon people. So more you show up. If you just dress up really well and stay at home, no one's looking at you, boss. Right. But if I dress up and go for an event, even if I go for an event and sit in the side of the room and don't speak to people, it's of no use. Right. Dress up, show up, and speak up. Speak up about your pairings. What do you want to be known for? Your success stories, how you're transforming life, how you can change their lives. Be a thought leader that we spoke about. Right. Show up, dress up, show up, dress up, show up, dress up, show up. Yeah.
Nice, man. Quite inspiring.
That's brand in a nutshell.
Yeah. As we were talking about, just do DDD philosophy.
The 5D.
Give me an example of how strategies work.
So again, I said strategy is about the shortest distance to success with your current resources, prioritizing. Let me give you an example. When I was managing the marketing at Deltin, currently we're chief brand consultants with Big Daddy. That's Goa's highest rated casino on TripAdvisor and Google. When I was working for Deltin, we had done a giveaway. We'd given out a BMW 5 Series.
Quite a good.
Okay, and we had around 10,000 coupons and entry coupons, right, of people who had registered for the giveaway. And in that, there was one question that said, which hotel do you stay at? From the data, I realized that 95% of the people coming to the casino were staying in either a 4-star or a 5-star hotel. For which I reached out to the president. And I said, boss, 95% of our audience are staying in 5 stars or 4 stars. Because everyone had to fill in the form when they entered. 95% of the audience has to stay in a 4-star or 5-star. We're spending so much on marketing and advertising, probably the biggest spenders in the state at that time. I said, why don't we just go to the 4 stars and 5 stars, give the hotel a discount, and give an exclusive offer to their customers. The hotel would get a commission. And we would only pay when someone comes to us. So initially it was like, do you really think we should be discounting? I said, there's no harm in trying, right? It's if this channel works out. So then we had someone come in for an interview. We said, okay, you will drive the Alliance channel and reach out to all the hotels, restaurants, partners. So he asked, do we really need to discount to get the customer? I said, let us try. Because this audience is a massive audience. 95% of our audience is coming from this segment. So we someone had come in for an interview. I asked him, can you start the Alliance channel? Help me just reach out to all the hotels. And that channel became so successful. When I left the company within a year and a half, around over, I think 30-35% of the revenue was coming in from that channel. And that Alliance team itself was a 10 plus team, right? 10 plus members in that one team, generating, so that is strategy, right? So how, we didn't have to spend a lot of money because we were only paying for when people come in. Hotel was happy, customer was happy, everyone was smiling. So that's an example of how the shortest moves for the greatest success. And now that Alliance channel has become a benchmark across a lot of the industries, across casinos, across cruises, across a lot of industries.
So they are using the same strategy now to.
So that one move has now has become a benchmark for a lot of industries.
Nice. And talking about unicorns, like we were discussing prior to the podcast, right? We see a lot of unicorns coming up in India, and there are few in Goa, which you can tell us. But how can more Goan brand can become unicorn?
Good question, tough question. If I knew the answer, I would be on way to being a unicorn. But yes, that's a good question. Firstly, Goa does have one unicorn, I think, into diagnostics. And so to be a unicorn, one is you need to be a product company, right? Because true scale purely happens in a product company, right? Goa is incubating a lot of product companies. There are a lot of incubation centers. I'm not too sure of how many are en route to being a unicorn, but I can tell you one thing for sure. If someone is got their formula right in the AI industry, or if anyone is creating a great product in the pharma industry or in the logistic industry, and that is being incubated in Goa, I think the Goan environment of having easy access to all the cities, direct flight to all the cities, and access to great creative talent. If they can tap onto that, tapping the creative talent of Goa, I think that's a great formula for becoming a unicorn faster. Because Goa, whether we like it or not, is the creative capital of India. We have the film festival happening in India. We have Ad Festival, the Ad Fest. We have Serendipity, which is the Art Fest. We have... again, I said the film festival. You have all the creative art fest happening. So all the creative talent is flocking to Goa. How can we leverage this, and how can we leverage the ecosystem of a lot of good talent wanting to move to Goa? Because talent builds unicorns. right? How do we use Goa to attract these great talents? That's the question that we have to ask. And anyone who's cracked that formula has built a great product company and has cracked that formula of how do we leverage Goa to get the right talent is is the next unicorn.
Yeah, that is the thing, right? Bangalore and Pune are said to be the startup hubs, right? And people flock from here to go there because it is known as the startup hub.
Yeah, but pre-COVID, there's been a shift for a lot of business owners, a lot of big successful business owners. Like Delivery has his office in Goa,
Hmm.
head office in Goa. So a lot of successful business want Goa as their second home,
Hmm.
which means all of these people are accessing Goa a couple of times a year, right? So if they are flocking, why not the talent,
Hmm.
right? If they are here, why not, groom your talent from here? So there's definitely a shift of creative talent wanting to shift to a place like Goa. But how do we again create this ecosystem?
Yeah, that
Not
is the
only
thing.
there's a creative talent, how do we put it together
Hmm.
in one bouquet, right? And then give it to the world, give it to these startups, give it to these potential unicorns.
Hmm. Nice. And we are talking about like the brands which you have worked, which has gone global, right? And you have worked with brands which are global. So how do you play strategy in that?
So everything is a strategy game.
Hmm.
Okay, everything is a strategy game.
So is it a different strategy for
Everything.
them?
So
And
everything is bespoke, right? Everything. What works for an engineering company won't work
hmm.
for an education company. What works for a casino won't work for an architect, or won't work for uh, any other company. So each one has its own bespoke philosophy. But understand the fundamentals of brand is the same.
Hmm.
So whichever business we work with, the fundamentals of building a brand is the same, right? But the approach is different for each one. Okay, so I'll give you an example of a company called Fluid Power Automations, which we uh, rechristened as FPA Global. And they wanted to move into the lighting industry. So they were electrical engineering contractors. And having lit up Atal Setu, now the brand wanted to be known as Electrical Turnkey Solutions. Lighting Turnkey Solutions, sorry. And when we were approached, we worked with them closely to redesign, reimagine their whole brand. And this was in 2020, for which we came out with a slogan called "Be Brilliant," which is brilliance comes from the word light. So being brilliant in everything that you do, being brilliant in a presentation, being brilliant in the work that you do, hiring only brilliant people. Everything was be brilliant, and that became the philosophy, and that became the core DNA of the company. And we had created all the collaterals to create great lighting solutions for smart cities, bridges, airports, monument structures, landmarks, tunnels. And a list of inquiries were given, a list of leads, a wish list of people were given. We framed the whole brand, and 4 years cutting down the line. 4 years, if you ask we went into literally an interview mode. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? We asked them that question
Yeah.
this year, right? 4 years from now, whatever we had manifested, whatever we had created. For example, we had a tunnel photo, and looking back, it is just a stock photo.
Okay.
Currently, they have done lighting for a tunnel. And it is exactly the same photo, similar angle that was in the presentation that was 4 years back. Everything that had been mentioned, smart cities, they had done a couple of smart cities. Bridge, from being from lighting only Atal Setu to being India's largest bridge lighting partner. Right? So everything that we had created and showcased, and this was when when we had only one project to showcase at that point in time. And now 4 years down the line, whatever we had envisioned, the goals were set, right? And belief, most important, because the business owners, Anirudh and Anurag, are great hustlers, right? True believers and true, doers. And I've gone out and achieved everything that is set. And now we're working on creating brand FPA2, which is a truly global brand. Right? So the strategy was, again, not simple, but again, unlocking it from them. What do they want to be? We don't come and say, this is what you have to be. We understand what they have to be, and then we sync it with their goal plan. So everything that we had envisioned 4 years down the line, we've achieved. Again, coming to the point, brand is a long-term solution. It's a long-term game, right? It's not a short-term. If I go to the gym today, pump for 2 hours, what will happen?
You'll
I'll get injured,
pumped,
right?
yeah.
I'll get injured.
Super pumped.
I'll get
Yeah.
injured if I do 2 hours on the first day without warming up.
Yeah,
But if I
true.
go 30, even for 20 minutes for the next 1 year, okay, even if I miss, do it 4 times a week, I will be a more transformed person than doing it one time. So it's not a one time, it's not a brand is a marathon game. Right? How we do we rinse, repeat, whatever we have promise, make a promise, keep a promise, make a promise, keep a promise, make a promise, keep a promise. Right? Promises made, promises kept. That's brand. Right? So long term, strategy is that. It's as simple as knowing where to go and then not running there, but not sprinting there, but taking small steps to reach there.
I'm just thinking like how much research you have to do once once a client approaches and you have to study their brand and see what
It's a
works.
lot of research
Yeah.
because we have a big responsibility, boss. We are responsible for someone's growth.
Yeah.
We are responsible for someone's transformation, right? So we have to understand the market. We take around 1 week to just study the market and 1 to 2 weeks to just study competition, study the whole market, study what the industry is moving to in any industry. Right? So it's there's a lot of effort that goes in because decisions can only be taken with the right data. Right, with the right knowledge is the right data, which is industry research, secondary industry research, and asking them. Right, so that's research is a very important part of our job.
And when clients approach you, like consider a scenario when client approaches you with a limited budget and he says, "Ki, I want a very impactful campaign," right?
It's very simple, right? You can't go cheap on the way to glory, right? No one has ever made it, gone cheap on the way to glory, right? You can go frugal, right? But if you want to earn in crores, you have to pay in lakhs.
Yeah.
Free में कुछ भी नहीं मिलेगा. There's nothing called as free lunch. So people truly understand, and it's actually quite impressive that when people really see value, they don't negotiate. Right? When people truly see value, they don't negotiate. And when people truly believe, and that's what we are, right? If you, again, I'll repeat myself: don't go cheap on your way to glory, on your way to growth.
Cool. So you have been in business in quite a long time, right? 5 to 6 years.
6 years. We completed 6 years this year. Yes, we were the business of brand consulting for 6 years. We completed 6 years this year.
But how do you stay motivated? Like it's been a long time you have been
Oh,
running.
motivation. We are always motivated. Why? Again, we're both very passionate about building brands. For us, success of when we see success when a client's growing, that's what motivates us. And one more thing we keep doing is every year we launch something new to to give us a additional purpose. Like last year we launched the podcast. This year we've added coaching to our business, so we're learning a lot about coaching. Okay, we got ourselves a coach who's guiding us on that. So every year we are adding to what we've already doing is more challenges, more clients, more projects, more interesting projects for our self-learning. Right? So I think that's the only way you'll stay motivated, if you challenge yourself every year. Or else in the line where we have to think a lot, demotivation is a killer. Right? Demotivation can have a big impact on business because it will show in the output, it will show in the results, and results will be clients' growth. That's why if you speak to any of our clients, right, at any point of time, they will tell you that we are extremely passionate, right? Because we don't compromise, right? So money will come, money will grow, yeah. But we have to stay motivated, and if we are going to take our clients to the next level, we also need to do things that will take us to the next level, right? So that's something that we do to stay motivated is to keep learning, keep challenging ourselves.
And as you mentioned at the start of the podcast, before the podcast, that your co-founder pushes you a lot to.
Oh yes. So
you missed a point. There will be fight, so I just
no. So in fact, it's very healthy, right? So I don't think we fight over business. It's typically business. If you're a single business owner, you don't have someone to question you. And also sometimes when you are a husband-wife combination, then sometimes there's a problem at the family. For example, parents are not well or some emergency happens. Then both of us together will, the energy will be down. That's how do we keep our energy at all points of time? People underestimate the power of having energies in business, right? So what she does is question, right? That's why we have a coach also who questions, but question, is this the right way? We have a discussion, we have a someone to question us. Okay, similarly, we question each other and what is right and wrong. And at the end of the day, when we come home, it's a healthy discussion. There's no fights about work because we both have the same goal. Right? Yes, there will be sometimes opinions on certain creatives or certain strategies which are good for business, because constructive criticism brings out the best in business. Right? So I think a business partner is a great way to keep yourself again motivated and to have a common goal at the end of the day. Right? Doing business with your spouse is a great way to have an additional purpose, right? Besides your kid and besides everything else. There's a very strong purpose that you're working forward to. So I think that's a great motivator as well.
Cool, man. How has it been after doing 30 minutes to almost a 2-hour podcast?
Oh, I think this is a longest. It's like 3 or 4 of my podcasts combined. That's a lot.
Yeah, like I have a, I don't know, it is a goal or something, but I want to like sit and converse like 4 hours, 5 hours non-stop.
Right, let's do it. Yeah, whenever you have the time. There's never short. We're never short of topics to talk on. But great experience with the podcast. I think it's great to be on the other side, and some great questions that you've asked. I hope I've answered. And been giving you the right content. I think
lot of right content.
So that's
thank you for doing this.
No, it's our pleasure as always. Okay, being part of working with you, and this podcast is a great way to get our word out on brand, and hopefully it changes and inspires many businesses today.
For sure. So that's pretty much with this episode, and I hope you enjoyed listening. This is me, Kunal Raj, signing off. Floyd Tavares, the other side. And this episode will be live everywhere: YouTube, LinkedIn, Spotify, Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And there is a new feature, like when I say subscribe, not now, but at the start of the podcast, the subscribe button glows of the UI. Okay. So yeah, so that's pretty much. And we see you in the next one.